Okay, so the next part here, Anuasar Shin. So the top of page 9 there, this Anuasar Shin Glocken on peer vru row lorna. So on top of that, and again you're framing an argument, building this Glocken on peer vru is peer pressure. Row lorna, peer pressure takes the central role. Divorce is as a result of this. Galen alone Déagóra. Gale is to give in. So you might see sometimes on signs on Ireland road signs, you'll see like signs saying Gale Slee, and that just means yield right of way, to give in. So Galen alone Déagóra, a lot of teenagers give in. Agus tógann siad alcohol colú hosín siad an déag, and they take alcohol once they start their teens. Now this is a big problem, okay? So like all the research behind people getting addicted to stuff, that like if they would take alcohol like or start smoking or doing drugs and they're like 10, 11, 12, that has a very bad effect on them when they're older. They much more likely to get addicted. So that 5 over showed this is a huge problem. Okay, now if you're looking at this here, this is really important, these lines here that I've underlined, because learn shit and screw the hork will be going you contain to Agaf, that you've done a little bit of research. Okay, and this is again you can make your essay stand out. So the Bwelni smo on the Déagóra Hussin Goal River Coog Teg. Bwel is a danger, okay, and I'll put this in here, it's masculine. So on Bwel, okay, so the danger, but the Bwelni smo on. There's a bigger danger for teenagers, a Hussin and Goal River Coog Teg, that start drinking before 15. And underlying this here, that she Kerahorni Stoki, they're 4 times more likely, more probable. Gumekchi Splok Eran Ol Satelki, they're 4 times more likely to be dependent on drink in the future. So Nav Splok is independent, Splok is dependent. So they're 4 times more likely that they'll be dependent on drink in the future if they start drinking before 15. Now put a star beside that, because that again is going to help your essay stand out from other essays. Okay, show the exam you've done research. Mahain dini yoga and shliela show. Okay, so remember again guys, dina og but dini yoga. When young people go on this escape route, they don't understand the danger at the start. Nis miniki no wallet more often than not. Okay, so I'll go back over that little sentence there, so I want to go through it in detail. So where it's the underline stops. If young people go on this escape route, Elu is to escape, Shliela is this escape route. They don't understand the danger at the start. Okay, and then Nisminiki no wallet being she ro yank. More often than not, being she ro yank, it's too late. Nor higgin cheek or boss non duluk at all non when they understand that it's death or addiction that's in store for them. Now look out for that, guys. In non means in store, and we've seen that. They wrote an essay like about 1 year in an essay titled something about the Irish language. It was like in non dunguelga, okay, in store for the Irish language. Underline those 2 words. In non means in store. But you've seen that. I saw that a couple of years ago as well in the mock title. They asked in non means in store. Okay. That's fine. Now we focus a lot on alcohol, right? But I want to go into drugs a little bit, and this is something that's a bit different. Again, it'll help your essay stand up. But you can really kind of stop it there. You've got like lots there in alcohol, especially guys. I'd sit down. You've got like if you're looking there, what you have guys on binge drinking. You've got like about 200 words there breaking down binge drinking. But I'd use that. Remember, you can use it in so many different essays. Any essay in the titles before you got as being a teenager, seen the Blint and Hogan and Blint this Fiar. Go against and talk about binge drinking. 2012, Irish people should be more respectful of their drinking. 2015, you got an essay on alcohol and drugs. Could have talked about there. 2019, young people don't look after their health. Talk about alcohol and drug abuse. Tons of places you could have thrown this in. 2016, the culture of drinking. Binge drinking would have been ideal for that. So that's what I mean with that, guys. Massive chance you can work that into loads of different essays. Alright, but this is something that's a little bit different, okay? Now, I'd really be looking at this if you're aiming for H1 or H2, otherwise you can really leave this out, but this is something that's different. So, this is drugs, but this links in with the education system a lot. And a lot of people are doing stuff like, even they're taking stuff like Adderall to help them studying, and even stuff like Solpadeine and stuff like that. They're talking about this like addiction, because a lot of time people talk about drugs, they'll talk about stuff like heroin and cocaine and stuff like that. That's fine, but if you can go into like even the stuff like Solpadeine and prescribed drugs, that can be something different as well. That'll make your essay stand out. So this is another culture thing you can look into, Ireland, right? But I'll go into this now in detail. But what Anish, Bwalam branch Ella de Ruggi Curfy capital. Now Anish just means now. But while the Irish here is a bit advanced, because my logic with this is if you're going to go into an essay and talk about like codeine abuse and salpidine and stuff like that, you're really only the type of student who's aiming for H1 or H2. So the Irish here will be a bit advanced. So if you're sitting back and you're saying like, right, you're not aiming for H1 or H2, read through it, build up your vocab, you don't need to worry too much about this. But this Irish is a little bit advanced. It's mainly for the A1 students, so don't let it knock your confidence if you find this to be quite tough. The standard in this part will be higher than the rest of the essay. Okay, and Ish Bwalem, now, Bwalem Brancha Ella de Gruggy Curfy Capital. Now I'd like to, Curfy Capital is a fancy way of saying examine. I'd like to put it under examination, another branch of drugs. Now, Ní hugtar galore béime gruggy har an gúntar. Not enough emphasis is put on drugs har an gúntar over the counter that you can buy in a chemist, okay? Druggy, and underline that there, har an gúntar. Even if you said bwalem fecal gruggy har an gúntar. Remember what I said earlier, usually after you've got to shave you, okay? And you see it there, gruggy. So not enough emphasis is put on drugs over the counter. Aglaka. To accept, and those paracetamol, no salpidine, like paracetamol or salpidine, stuff like salpidine addiction is what we're going to look into now. Is branch of drugi dar van codeine each show. These are branch of drugs that are called codeine each show. On and dula, and they are very addictive. On and dula, on and dula, they're very addictive. And the big thing here is being anol kwisho. Anol means ignorant, okay? They don't understand how addictive they are. Ni higgin, and see this sentence here. Ni higgin dini an buel do creta. So if you want to follow me over here, guys, it's on buel do creta. Now see that there, guys? There's no shavu. On buel, it's masculine, no H here, okay? On buel. Remember, they don't understand the unbelievable danger. On buel do creta. You're following me up here, it's on buel. See that there, masculine, no H. So ni higgin sheet on buel do creta. So ni higgin sheet on buel do creta van in the muso drugi marsho is 5 rorira e agus cutin e. It's a serious problem. It's 5 rorira. Now, remember again I said when it's feminine, 5. So is everyone with me here? Is 5 rorira. DH for the IR, I for the IRE. Rorira. So 5 feminine, 5 rorira. Isho. It's a serious outcutting E. Augnanon Calicaptor is fader Iric road hook cozinig fugonistit. And in spite of what is thought, you can get too addicted on codeine without knowing it, okay? So in spite of what people think, you can get too addicted to codeine without knowing it, okay? So going over that there. It's 5 gorir aux codeine to E. It's a serious and common problem. In Augsana E show. In anon captor, in spite of what people think. Augs fader I wrote toke codeine few, gonistit, and you can get too addicted to codeine without knowing it. Now, look out for this. Rinnock briher ser. Okay, so Rinnock tied to RVU sod codeine. In research was done RVU sod codeine on the misuse of codeine. Agus the ogdu kuig fongate to kugascori ernock arain turum grab me sod codeine mar I blornic imaska gus to Mary. Now this is really where your essay is going to stand out. So I'll go over this here. The ogdu kuig fongate to kugascori ernock. 85% of Kugasori Ernica of Irish pharmacists arain turum in agreement grab miusod codeine, that the misuse of codeine mar I blorna was as a central part in mask customary amongst customary their customers and the other. So I'll go over that again. Rinnock tied to RVU codeine. Research was done, Briher Ser Rinnock. Rinnock tied to RVU codeine, and viewed up the Coog Fungate the Kugascori Ernica, and 85% of Irish pharmacists were in agreement or ein turum greb new sod codeine, that the misuse of codeine mar iblornica mask customary was as a central problem amongst their customers. It's cultural not go into Naharan able to smock no shrina quinol or fain. It appears that the people of Ireland can't keep control or restrict themselves. Shreen is restricted limits, so they can't control or restrict themselves. Being chunker who fosca egna druggy shot or who shoot a glock and low. These chunkers affect Being Chunkru Fosca, Igna Druggy Shot, or these drugs will have a terrible effect on the Glocken on those who accept them. Auxilimarogo, Quillacu Fos, and Luadega. And it hurts me to say that a lot of them are, Luadega are in their early teens, they're young, okay? So that's again that. Now, pick out what you want on that. If you want to restructure it, fine. But if you've got something different, especially if you can build in the percent, that 85% stat, you can build a little paragraph around that, even if it's only 80 words or 100 words, something different that'll make your answer stand out and will again drive up your marks, okay? So that's it. The last little simple thing we'll go through, if you guys look over to top page 10, I won't finish the essay now, but I'll just do the top paragraph here because I want to go through the little link with COVID-19. Nor Vulan coronavirus do not turn our fault. When the coronavirus hit, all the pubs are closed. Now, so this is the last little link, but it's a really nice one to go over linking COVID-19 with alcohol and drugs. Ciafo Gagarok should stop occur to 5 and alcohol. Ciafo, you would think that this would help to stop the alcohol problem. Here, but the opposite is true. So I'll go over that sense again. The coronavirus hit, do not turn our fault. All the pubs were closed. Ciafo Gagarok should stop occur to 5 and alcohol. You would think that this would have helped to stop the alcohol problem. Here, but the opposite is true. To her on Eve, because of the demand, to her on Eve, Hosig na bar deal a guid manglum erlina la shakadi or fall. Because of the demand, the bars started, Hosig na bar deal, the bars started to sell a guid manglum. A manglum is nice one. It's like saying they're cocktails, but not just like, it's like their products, okay? A guid manglum, the bars started to sell their products. Erlina la shakadi or foil. They started to sell their products online with delivery available. The rare statistically, now underline that. According to statistics, the people of Ireland are drinking more alcohol than ever before. A new assertion, remember we saw earlier, a new assertion on top of that, Dennis should be go medu over taga good alcohol. The shops will also say that there's been a huge increase in their alcohol sales. In a good deal on alcohol in their alcohol sales. And that's that. So like you can get an idea of that there, guys, but even on that essay, I won't go through the last two paragraphs there because I know we're just up on time, but that's an idea really of what we go through in a class. Like, so maybe we went through that in an hour, but in a class we'll be able to have an hour and 15 get through the whole thing. And that's just an idea of what we go through. What I would do now is I'll talk to you guys quickly about the actually, yeah, what I'll do is I'll prep the board here and I'll give you guys a quick talk then about the weekly rounds. Thanks. Okay, guys. So I'll give you a quick overview of like a lot of questions students that have. So the first thing that I find students asking about would be really when are the classes and at what time do they take place. So what you see here is this is the timetable for Slorgan classes. These are they're on Monday night, Wednesday night, and Saturday morning. Okay, so I take these. I take all 3 classes in Slorgan, and yeah, you have the times there: Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and then also in Colester, Shane takes the class there on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock, and Rob will take the class on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. Okay. What I would say before it is that we all work off the same notes and the same plan during the year. So we'd have we cover the same thing, like we do the essays at the start, same topics in the oral, and we'll align our classes so we're all doing the same thing. Around the same time, okay? So any of these questions would have, let's say for me, my Slorgan classes, similar will apply for the Colester classes, okay? So you see here at the start, right? First thing is, do you cover the whole course in 1 year? Yeah, we do, okay? So we've been doing this one the way for last 8 years. We've been managed to get the whole course done in 1 year. What I would say is, like, how can we manage to get it done in 1 year? We split it up in books, okay? So like we've got 3 books. We've got 1 book for the oral, 1 book for paper 1, and 1 book for paper 2. And the main thing is we don't like, so this is like the oral book we'd have with it, we have a book for paper 1 and paper 2 the same. We don't like to give students like tons and tons of different sets of notes each week, because then they're spending a lot of time reorganising their notes and all that sort of stuff. So we make sure to line class in that way. And then also, will there be mock orals? The big question students have is, yeah, we would. We'd have three mock orals every year, and and that will build them up, and they'll get progressively harder. So the first one's quite manageable that they'd have in October, then you have another one in November, and then another one then again in January. Okay, one little quick question then again, it's like what do we do in the class that are a bit different? One thing we would merge in quite well when we're doing our essays with our oral strategy as well is we push students a lot in their oral, but we make sure any of the phrases that when we've written out our essays, we make sure to blend in the same types of phrases into the oral exam. So when you're studying for the oral exam, complement your essays, and when you're studying for essays, it'll complement the oral. So remember, you'll have a different examiner grading your oral is the one that's grading your essay. So like a lot of those topics we talk about the education system, misuse of alcohol and drugs, mobile phones, technology, social media, mental health. All of those topics will come up a lot in the oral exam as well. So we try and push you guys on those topics as well a lot. One other big thing I would say to paper one strategy, and what we've done spent a lot of time on with our essays here that makes them very different, is that any of the essays, when we're writing the essays, we tend to try and recycle the same phrases in different essays. So when you're studying over it, you're not getting overloaded with too much vocab, that you'll see a lot of the same types of phrases and vocab building up, and same types of questions and structuring of points. And you'll see them pop up in different essays, and you'll see them pop up in your oral notes. The goal we're trying to do a lot of time is to not to overload students with too much stuff, but just to keep reinforcing the same types of points and arguments. So a lot of those phrases you've seen in the essay we did there on alcohol and drugs, you'll see those exact same types of points being argued in the essay in the education system, and also in the broader essay on the life of a teenager. Okay, so that's the strategy we take when we're going down through it. Same thing then, what we would tend to do at the start is work on these two topics very early on during the year, and we work on paper 2. We don't start to push in around that on November, but the first 2 months we push you guys hard in the oral exam paper 1, and the paper 2 stuff would really tend to get pushed a lot after your oral exams are done. That's when we'd lean into hard on paper 2, because remember again, the big goal is we're looking at your oral exams for around March, and that's why we want to make sure we push you guys in those 2 early up. Okay, so as we hit the ground running with this, and we push you guys really, really hard from the very first class. Okay, so remember, you 29 classes during the year, 29 classes, get the whole course done. Very, very manageable to do it. Like, I have students who come back who want to be primary school teachers, who go to my weekly grind, and they work very hard outside that weekly grind to put in a lot of work, but that's all they have. But it's very manageable. They've all the notes. They don't really need anything else. If you've got our notes, you've got everything you need. Like, we go through everything really with the notes, like broken down all the past listening questions over the years, all the key vocabs for them, all the essay titles over the last 15 years. We translated all those sort of titles, gone through all the pitfalls and the mistakes students make in their leaving cert. We've highlighted them all in our books, so students will know how to avoid them. And huge amount of work's gone into the books. We're very, very proud of them, and that's why our students do so well. Okay, thank you.